So as you saw, last night was wild in Nashville. Rob and I were able to watch the Prologue pros run through this insane Endurocross right downtown up Broadway Street. It was Alfredo Gomez who ended up winning it, but the competition was just insane. It was always right down, a couple photo finishes. I hope you enjoyed the footage. So now what we're doing is we are getting ready for our trip over to Sequanchi. We're staying at I stayed at a hotel last night. You can see this is Nashville in the background here, and it is 8:17, which means it's actually 9:17 over at the Trials Training Center. Even though it's 2 hours to the south and a little bit to the east, it's in a different time zone. So when we get there, it'll be an hour ahead. We're gonna stop, grab some water and things like that. We've got some intel coming from our friends saying that it's really slippery in the rocks. So we'll see what that's all about. But we had such a great night last night. We're really looking forward to today. We've already had a great breakfast, done our stretches, feeling good for TKO. All right, so we're about an hour out of Nashville now. We've come in closer to where we need to be at the Trials Training Center in Sequanchi. We're going to be spending the night in Jasper. We just got a call from our friend Tony, who's given us some intel about the race format and how to register. Apparently, we need our AMA card, so when we come into these sorts of races, you always got to make sure you have your AMA card with you, or you can take a screen capture of your membership online. The format itself, we're going to start off with a hot lap, which is 2 kilometers long, or maybe it should be 2 miles actually. Probably 7 or 8 minutes worth of hard racing, and that's going to determine your position in race 1. Race 1 starts tomorrow at 9 o'clock. There's a riders meeting at 8, and at 9 o'clock they're going to start sending off riders based upon how they placed in the hot lap, their time in the hot lap. So my strategy is I want to actually really push it in this hot lap, you know, hopefully within the parameters of safety, but getting out ahead of everyone I think is going to help a lot, because any type of bottlenecks is really what's going to hold you back in any type of race like this. So if I can get ahead of, you know, up to the top 50 even, that would be ideal. The rocks, from what we hear, are quite slick, and we'll do a walkthrough and see, and we'll see just how true that is and how slick they are. But the first race is 20 miles long, which is a lot on single track on a good day. Even the easy single track, that's a lot of kilometers to put in, 32K or so. But when you have to do it through wet, moving rock in what is almost a tropical jungle here in Tennessee, or at least it is for me, it's going to be a very long first race. Then from that first race, the top 200 riders will go on to the second race. And those 200 riders are now battling for their place in their class, but they're also battling for a TKO gold medal. So the top 50 finishers will, in the second race, which again is 20 miles long on a harder course with more obstacles, the top 50 riders will receive a gold TKO medal. The top 150 will receive a silver TKO medal, and the top 30 will advance to Sunday to race with the super pros, the people who've already pre-qualified, the people who come from all around the world. Those are the people who have already qualified for the Sunday race. So it's neat that you have an off chance of getting into this race to race alongside the best in the world. It's hard for me to gauge how realistic that is right now, based upon the caliber of riders we're riding against, but from the things that I've heard from other people, some friends who've raced Tough Like Roar, the competition is very stiff. But that doesn't mean it isn't achievable, and it's certainly a goal I'm trying to set for myself. You know, I'll be happy with anything at this point, because so far this experience has been incredible. Being in Nashville last night and watching those guys go through that Endurocross, and girls, watching them go through that Endurocross was unbelievable, and that alone was worth the trip. But as far as performance wise, I would really like to be able to get into that last race, and as a consolation prize, you get to watch the best riders in the world. So it's a win any way you look at it, but man, would it be cool to race alongside of them. All right, so yeah, we're about 2.9 miles to get off the highway here and head into Sequanchie, Tennessee. It's time to get knocked out. Oh, yeah, grab another one.
Okay.
All right, so registration is done, and this is so crazy, but we went to register, and there was a guy in line saying that they're giving away free Kenda tires. So, yeah, insane, right? So I picked up a gnarly. Look at this thing, 140. It's like, if I blow a tire on my truck, I can probably just throw it on. And Rob picked up an Ibex, the classic. Both gummies. Both awesome. So we're gonna go walk the Prologue right now and check it out. Try and get some idea of what we need to do. We've got all our numbers. I'm 300. Rob is 301. Great numbers. And we start our race Prologue at 3 o'clock. So we'll get out there, check it out, get some intel. Yeah, look, check it out. I'm with Rich Larson, the guy who taught me how to pivot turn.
Hey, yeah, keep watching them, huh?
That's
Appreciate
awesome.
it. Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
All right, so here we go. We're walking the Prologue here. Gonna walk the whole thing. Really cool experience. We just got to meet and chat with Louise Forsley, who I think is easily one of the top, if not the top, women rider for hard enduro in the world. And she was chatting about a race last night in the Prologue.
Oh, Nighter!
There he is!
Hey, good
oh my gosh,
today.
Dave Knight! Wow!
Great job last night.
High side corner.
Yeah.
See, that's how crazy it is. You're just walking, and these superstars to us are everywhere. So yeah, we just met with Louise Forsley, chatting with her about her Prologue experience.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Oh, it's Taddy! Oh my God!
We were there last night, man. Amazing job getting back in there.
Yeah,
unnecessary that thing, but well, hey, racing, right?
Hey,
entertaining, man.
It's not broken, that's a good thing.
You know what? I think you got the loudest cheers though, man. Warrior mode.
I felt like I had it, like speed-wise.
Yeah.
Just that wrist situation didn't help.
Yeah,
but hey, it's racing, right? Sometimes, well, doesn't always go where you wanted to go, right?
And you actually jabbed it again the second time too.
Yeah,
so.
but I had absolutely no strength in it then, you know, like it got better like towards the end of the night then, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you, Taddy. Go, man. So anyway, what I was saying before we were
Interrupted by two massive superstars.
is how cool it is that you get to scout all this stuff and meet these people, like superstars to us. And I said this a few times, I don't know if I've said it on my channel yet, but you know, I don't think this sport is going to be accessible like this for long, because right now we're at this really sweet spot where we get to chat with people like Taddy riding around on his bike. And you know, you look at sports like Supercross or many other sports, you don't get that access once it reaches a certain level of popularity. And even last night in Nashville, Rob and I were saying on the way here that may never be replicated, because as the sport gets more popular, you couldn't run it down the downtown core again. So, long way of saying, for those of you who are loving hard enduro and love these sorts of sports, seize the day, because I think those days are going by quickly. And regardless of that, the experience of this, all of the world events like this, or GNCCs, or any of these type of high caliber world-class events, is worth it on so many levels. It's not just about coming to do the race, which again is epic, but the Prologue itself last night was well worth the trip, right? Meeting some of the people that we've met is well worth the trip. Shake Shack was well worth the trip.
Absolutely.
So you know, all these things that you know, if you can get to some of these events, it's certainly expensive, but it's worth the investment. Try and pump off one a year and see what you can do. Okay, so back to scouting. We're going to try and listen in on what the super pros are saying about things. So this is part of the Prologue. Spin it around and start going. So start hard enduroing our way up. This is not going to be easy. So these rocks are slippery, to say the least. It is very humid here, so what happens is the rocks, in addition to the rain that we got, are also sweating. This is going to be a brutal race for the Prologue, because what I know is going to happen right now is there are going to be bottlenecks. There's a lot of people that I saw that are sort of treating this like a casual fun ride, and nothing about this right now is casual. Only fun for some. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm actually trying to pick alternate lines when I see bottlenecks. So for example, I know this is going to be the main line. People are going to come in, and I need to be able to think, how can I get around that? So you want to be looking at alternate lines like this one over here. All these are doable. And actually this left line is looking pretty good. By the time we get here an hour into it, this is going to take a lot of people's souls, and it's only the Prologue. So one thing I should say is I haven't really talked about my injury because I haven't been doing videos out since, but yeah, I got a bunch, as some of you probably know, I got a bunch of pins and plate put in my ankle after Erzberg. I broke my tibia there, and I think I'm not so sure my ankle appreciates what I'm doing right now, because this is pretty hard to walk on, and if I'm going to be dabbing, I could see my ankle disagreeing with that. But you know, I think in some ways it'll actually help me ride better, because it's going to force me to be more cautious with my line choice, because really it's the bike that should be doing the work anyway. And if I can keep that smoothness because I'm nursing my ankle, then that might help me out in the long run. But you know, Erzberg, you know, obviously I didn't want to injure myself, and that was not a good thing. But I didn't really mind the downtime, and it allowed me to recalibrate and reflect on some of the lessons I learned there, and going into these races and how to approach them. So I think this is a limping reminder as I walk through this of how to ride smart. And right now it starts with choosing the right line, which I think goes through here. This guy.
Yeah, so you're gonna go left here. Okay.
One lesson I learned, I think, is really valuable in real hard enduros, like not sort of like your harder race, but true hard enduros where you're trying to get up stuff like this, right? So what I noticed at Erzberg is the guys who finish reasonably well are the ones who just, as Cameron Hayes says, keep hammering, right? You just keep at it, you just keep going, and even if it's just one hammer at a time, inch by inch, you can take the course. And it's amazing how far you can get if you just calm down and keep moving. Don't stop. You know, there's a saying that it doesn't matter how fast you go as long as you keep moving, and that is very applicable to hard enduro. And it's a point of wisdom I'm going to try and employ here for TKO. I think the Prologue, I want to push it a little bit faster, but you know, in the races themselves, when you see how difficult this terrain is, it often just becomes a war of attrition and how tough you are. And if you can maintain that inch by inch, then you are tougher than the next person. And that often comes with maintaining your composure, staying calm, breathing, paying attention to those things. And so if you look, I'm wearing a Garmin, and for this race there will be two fields in that Garmin. One will be the distance, because I know how long the course is, and the other will be my heart rate. I really don't care what time it is, because it's point-to-point racing on this one. You have 2.5 hours to finish lap 1, and you have 2.5 hours to finish, well, lap 1, race 2, race 1, race 2. So all I care about is what's my distance, and more importantly, and this is the thing that is the point I'm trying to make and overlooked often, is heart rate. How calm can you stay? How flowy can you be? Can you just maintain that? So I'm trying to aim for a consistent heart rate between 140 and 150. Obviously it'll spike from time to time, but that's my optimal race pace. It's not the speed, it's the heart rate. All right, another lesson. I don't mean to tell people what they already know. This is more just me journaling more than anything else and reminding myself. But take it or leave it. Another thing I learned in Erzberg is you can't underestimate how important it is to walk a course. And you see these little things that stand out, like this, for example, right? You think the obvious line is right there. So, like this, for example, like you see the obvious line is right there, so you think, but you know, if you just come up to it, you might think, oh, that looks crazy. But if you walk it, you can actually see, you know what, this isn't that bad, because it looks steep, but you come over it and you've actually got a nice line to blip off this here. And this rock actually has pretty good texture to it. So if you're racing, and this goes for whether you're doing XCs, hard enduro, motocross, every pro racer you'll notice spends a lot of time walking the course and figuring out what's going on. It doesn't matter how good you are, your mind can only adapt so quickly. And even if it can adapt quickly, the better you know the course, the less it has to adapt, because you know what's coming. Even this downhill right here, I can see that this is sketchy, and I want to be staying to the right where all this traction is. It doesn't look as part of the course. So yet again, another good reason why you walk stuff, because even as you walk stuff, you get to talk to people. And as the guy was putting up the flags, the race starts in an hour. And we were wondering whether the left or the right line off the start is better, because you come down through the arches, and then we're kind of, me and this other rider were both looking at it. Turns out, when you finish, you start going this way, and you finish, and you have to go back through the Red Bull arches.
Yes.
So the right side is the go side, the left side is the return side.
So it is only one rider at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so and the timer is underneath the Red Bull.
That makes sense now. Okay.
So.
Jump on,
All right.
Jump in.
The best taxi in the world. Holy smokes.
Go on,
What?
go on.
Oh, man.
Quicker.
Damn it. Yeah. How's it going? Great. Fantastic.
Get it started.
Huh?
When did you get it started?
Well, after, okay, I got a story. Day one, TKO, we're ready to go. That's Rob in the background. There he is, Moto Valley Enduro. And we are geared up and we are all set down here in Sequanchie, Tennessee. It is a lot cooler this morning than it was yesterday. Yesterday when we went out, it was brutally hot. But right now, it's probably around 22 degrees. And what the format is today is there's two races. The first race is, how long do they say, Rob? 14 miles?
Between 10 and 11.
10 and 11 miles is going to be the first race. Of those competitors who finish 200 and under, you get to continue advance on to the second race. The remainder of competitors of about 500 are going to be knocked out. So obviously the goal today is to try and meet that 200 threshold. Right now where I'm starting today is around 260, which sounds not great, but all considered, it's not that bad considering what happened yesterday with my bike stalling, having to go back, grab a booster, getting the party bus with Manny and all those guys back to my bike, starting it back up and finishing it. So I'm actually quite surprised that I was able to still be ahead of half of the competitors that are out there today, because I took about a 10-minute, 15-minute detour. So yeah, we're gonna head out, and it's gonna start off by similar to what it did yesterday, out into the Prologue Endurocross. After that, you're heading into the grass track, into that riverbed. Again, you're not going to be doing the whole thing, thank goodness, because it was hard. And then you're off into the big loop, and that's where you get those miles we were just talking about. After that, you're coming back in. One thing I was a little bit nervous about with my Prologue time is I wasn't sure if it was a head start that those guys who were starting earlier would get or not, but it is transponder point-to-point timing. And so that's great, because what that means is even though I'm back in 260 something, I'm still going to be able to be competitive with the people up at the front. The advantage that they have, of course, is they're not potentially dealing with bottlenecks. So you know, that's something you always want to try and stay ahead of. It makes such a difference in hard enduro. But it's reassuring to know that at least I have a shot to try and get into that second race. So here we go. It's all GoPro footage today because this is all I have on me. I'm not bringing my big camera out with me. And there's not going to be many Instagram stories today, but no reception or anything like that here. But we're ready to go. You ready to go, Rob?
Ready to go, let's do it. Try not to get TKO'd. That's better. Thank you.
still. Stay still.
thoughtful here. Trying to keep my energy. Focus on my breathing.
keeping in mind that if I can qualify, I've got a second race to do. So I don't want to completely kill myself here. See where they're going. Again. It's not
Wire might be pinched or something.
The what?
Wire might be pinched.
I thought that, but it's not. Oh, fuck. Sorry. No, it's all right, man. Fucking bottlenecked.
Everybody's giving advice, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, alright.
How is it?
Hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like Canada, eh?
No. Sir. My relay keeps dying.
And we can't help you guys, right?
No.
No.
There's a lot of really good riders here who are just dying. It's so hot, and there's no traction at all. It's just like slippery. It's like someone took ice cream or peanut butter and put it over the rocks. Even with a gummy, I can't get anything. And I don't know if you can see on my GPS here. I'll stop my bike. You can see here. Oh, this is where I made it. And I was just talking to the guy there. He said over 200 people didn't make it to that spot. So respectable, but I didn't qualify for race 2. I mean, when I stopped there at that uphill, they call it the swamp, and took a 40-minute break, I knew I wasn't going to make it. I was going to quit there, but kept going and hit some gnarly terrain and managed to get out of it. So man, this stuff is hard. What a great day. I love this stuff. What do you say, Rob? What's your thoughts on TKO?
I got TKO'd. Oh, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Super challenging. Learned a lot.
Did some stuff on the bike I'd never done before. So all in all, super cool experience. Get to meet the pros and hang out with a lot of cool people. It was definitely worth the investment to come down. I think it'll be a staple in my summer for sure.
What was the most surprising part of this trip, the race?
I just think every time I throw myself into, you know, that next level of hard enduro, I can never fathom how hard it's going to be. And I think I'm just constantly surprised. You know, the Cord was the hardest race I'd ever run. And then it was, you know, Battle of the Prospectors was the hardest race I had ever run. Then it's stuff like Roar, and now it's TKO. It's just continues to get crazier and crazier.
Yeah.